spend 150 grand other places. It's not like, you know, so where do you come down? How many guys haul with
Got out
them?
of
Like
Star
something.
City.
O'clock.
Pour me a drink. Okay. Good evening. At this time, I'd like to open the public hearing for the adoption of the proposed 2024 general fund budget. So I'm going to have to say this 3 times. Is there anyone here who would like to speak on the adoption of the proposed 2024 general fund budget? Is there anyone here who would like to speak on the proposed 2024 general fund budget? One more time. Anyone here who'd like to speak on the proposed 2024 budget, general fund budget? Thank you. Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. We'll call the meeting to order. May I have, I stand for the pledge, please. Thank you. May I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Samasco?
Present.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Here.
Commissioner Beeden?
Present.
Commissioner Trello?
Present.
Commissioner Rushing?
Here.
Commissioner Vandenbosch?
Here.
Commissioner Chairperson Bone.
Okay, we have a quorum. At this time, do we have any additions, deletions, or changes to the agenda?
This time I would make a motion to add the Smiths Creek Landfill Gas Interceptor Trench Project to the agenda, as well as removal of item 12AL, Resolution 23-32, budget adoption, for the reason that it's repeated from 21A, which is the identical item.
Thank you.
If I could, for the addition of the Smiths Creek landfill, if we could make that A1, because I imagine most of the people here are potentially going to speak on that, and then Matt Williams can address it. So I'd like that to be A1 on the agenda.
I would so modify my motion.
I have a support?
Support.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 5, the approval of the agenda as changed. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
Okay. Any questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Minutes of the previous meeting.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve and file the minutes from the October 19th, 23 commission meeting.
Support.
Thank you. I have a motion support. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 7, and do we have any proclamations this evening? Okay. Item 8, the consent agenda.
I'd like to make a motion to approve items A8 through AG on the consent agenda.
Support. Thank you. I have a motion and support. Any questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 9, reports of standing committees. Commissioner Samasco, do you have anything?
No report.
Thank you. Commissioner Beeden?
Not tonight.
Thank you. Commissioner Torello?
Nothing this evening.
Thank you. Commissioner Rushing?
Yes, I gave a report at Wales on Tuesday night. Been to a lot of meetings this week. In regards to, I gave a format, which I'm going to be handing to all the townships that I represent in regards to the $1 million second go-around of the ARPA funds. And they're going to be able to talk with the director, Bill Hazelton, of our St. Clair County Road Commission in regards to projects.
Thank you. Commissioner Vandenbosch?
Nothing tonight.
Thank you. Item 10, citizens wishing to address the board. Rachel Duplay?
I'm here to address the landfill issue with the toxic smell. I want to know how it's going to be remedied, because every Saturday when they work approximately 4 hours, maybe like 8 to 12, I feel like they leave raw garbage fully exposed, because the smell is so unbearable. It makes me severely nauseous. I get headaches. Never had this issue the last couple decades. I'd say maybe within the last year or so, I've noticed a drastic change. And when it gets into the garage and the house, I live like west of the landfill on 7048 Yeager. It gets into the home, and that smell stays in there for numerous hours. And I want to know what's going to be done. I want to know why the raw garbage is exposed. And it's, like I said, it's just unbearable. And I'm sure I've heard people up in Ruby even complaining about it in far areas.
So Matt Williams is here tonight. So generally during this time period, you have 3 minutes to speak and share, what you're thinking or what you want the board to know. And I don't know if under A1, if Mr. Williams will be able to address any of this. I think we have a plan coming into place, but under this format, it's not a question and answer. But I think we'll be able to address some of the things that I'm sure there are many people in the audience that have questions too.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
Thank you. Rod Usikowski?
Rob Usikowski, Supervisor, Kimball Township. So our board has had discussions about the issues at the landfill. Honestly, I have lived about 1.5 miles from the landfill for over 20 years and have rarely had any smells at all. But last year, we started having some pretty significant odors, not as persistent as this year or as consistent. This year, it's been pretty much nonstop for 4 months, where the odors are, and at 1.5 miles, I can't imagine what some of these people are when they're less than half a mile from the landfill. So our board's had a lot of discussions. I've talked with Matt Williams several times, talked with Jeff Bohm several times. Our board has adopted a resolution asking for some things to be done. The first one is that we hire somebody that can kind of get to a point where we understand what's causing the issue to begin with. And unfortunately, when I talked to Matt, I mean, I think we put the flare in place today and it ignited today, if I'm not mistaken. So, but he doesn't know if that's going to work. And to me, that's not a good sign, right? I think our residents want to see get to the bottom core of what the issue is and what is causing the problem, so that moving forward, we don't have the problem repeat itself. I feel like and rightly so. You know, it's a terrible smell, and we want to get a Band-Aid on it and get it fixed. But the reality is, I don't want it to reoccur again, and neither does our board. So we're asking that we find somebody that can help us. I will be glad to do some legwork to get there, to see if I can find somebody that knows something or has experience in that, whatever we got to do, but find somebody that can get us to the core of the issue of what is causing the problem and not just fix the odor issue. The second thing is, a lot of people here have concerns about health. First thing people say usually is, hey, it's methane gas. Well, methane gas doesn't smell. So the smell typically is hydrogen sulfide. I've seen other municipalities that have put health monitors in place near landfills, specifically in times where they're having these issues. That would give these people some peace of mind. Our fire department has gone out and tested a couple times. We've not found anything that's on our meters, but I don't know if we're testing for the right things. But I think it would be a good idea if the health department were involved and we got some meters out there just to give these people some peace of mind. The smells already cause nausea, vomiting, headaches, blurry vision, and all kinds of other health issues just related to what's there right now. We just want to make sure there's no long-term ramifications. The other thing I think we need to consider modifying our solid waste disposal plan. Right now, garbage that comes into St. Clair, that's generated in St. Clair County, has to stay here. So if I go to circuit court as a township to say, hey, we want this shut down until it's fixed, where's the garbage go? And I think if we had some emergency provisions in the
Rob,
solid waste plan.
if I could hold you on, you got some consideration as chair. He is supervisor for Kimball, if you want him to extend his 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's fine. You're going through the resolution that was sent to
Yeah.
us? Okay.
So the third point was that we amend that solid waste disposal plan, which right now keeps the garbage here. But that creates a caveat for us, because if this problem persists, and I do what they did in Northville, which is go to circuit court and say, hey, listen, we got to stop adding more garbage to a problem that's continuing to happen. Now what happens to the garbage? And I know that's not an immediate fix. It's a 90-day hearing time frame for that, but at least it gives some opportunity, if this were to happen again, to take garbage temporarily outside of the county. That's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you. Kim Parsons-Williams?
My name is Kim Parsons-Williams. I moved to Kimball Township 3 years ago. I live at 1169 Richmond, and we've been having the problem, like they've said, we've really noticed it bad since July. We have a big, beautiful pool. We just bought this home, and we can't even sit outside because we can't breathe. So, and the smell comes in our house. I really honestly would appreciate if Matt was allowed to come up here and give us his feedback on what the landfill is doing, because we're all gonna pretty much say the same thing. And I would like to address what he says after he speaks. I'd like to comment after that. So I don't know if that's possible.
At this, with public comment, it's to share if Matt does a presentation, and then probably what we need to do is set up a like a question and answer type forum, maybe at the Kimball Township Hall.
Yeah.
Something along those lines would probably be more appropriate, to have that back and forth. So I think for tonight, to get the information and the specific questions people may have to set us up better, to set up a meeting is, I think would probably get us farther.
Right. I mean, I'm pretty much just gonna say the same thing everybody else is gonna say up here. Something needs to be done. They're basically poisoning us and nobody seems to care. So, and I'm not sure when this meeting was changed from the 16th to today. When was that change made? Does anybody?
That was made last month. It was a schedule change because deer hunting. And we normally do that every year when it falls within deer
Because
hunting.
I guarantee you there would have been a lot more people here had they not found out last night about the change. So I'm a little aggravated that the residents weren't made aware of that any sooner. So just for next time, just kind of keep that in mind so everybody can get here and hear what is being said. That's it.
Thank you. Sherry Shacraft? Okay.
Sherry Shacraft. I live at 366 Pine River Road. I've lived in the community for 25 years. Same thing about the landfill. I know Matt's going to speak, but I think many of us are not interested in really hearing him say things to just try to pacify us. I've talked to Matt. I have talked to Robert Joseph from the EPA. The smell began getting horribly bad back in June. I live 3.8 miles from the landfill, pretty much as the crow flies, and living here for 25 years, having built my house there, never smelled the landfill before this June. Same thing, I've woken up at 2, 3, 4 a.m. in the morning. My entire house is filled with the smell of hydrogen sulfide. And I've done some research. If you look on the CDC website, it says it is toxic to humans. It will cause nausea, vomiting, headaches. As someone else said, blurry vision. I've woken up with headaches, nausea. The nausea will last all day long. I work from home. I'm a teacher. I work from home. I teach virtually. I can't escape the smell that is in the house. It's horrible. And I would say that if Matt lived in the community and people that are making decisions about this lived in the community, things would be done about this faster. To say that, they have things in place, I get one story from Matt and I get a completely different story from the EPA. The EPA said that there are no plans that they have. They say that as long as the landfill is being compliant, they can't do anything, but everything they said is gonna circle back to them. And Robert Joseph from the EPA tells me that they don't even have a plan on file that's been submitted by the landfill. So we're getting mixed stories. And so my concern is Matt's gonna get up here tonight and say all the things that were posted by the commissioner of Kimball Township for us to see, and he's just gonna say things to pacify us. This is not okay. According to the CDC, this is toxic. It is not okay that we're breathing this. We live in a rural community to have clean air. We should be able to go out in our yards and enjoy that. And the fact that the smell permeates our homes is completely unacceptable. So there has to be action taken. And if that means shutting down a landfill, shut it down. At this point, I think the community, again, 4 months of smelling this on a regular basis every single week. Someday it's 4 days in a row. And like I said, even our pets, they can't escape it. We can't, if we're home, if we work from home, we can't escape it either, and we shouldn't have to leave our homes to escape the smell. So I think that there's going to need to be another meeting, and I know my time is up. Thank you.
Thank you. Stacy Elliott.
Hi, I'm Stacy Elliott. I live at 4674 Lowerwood Drive in West Waterwoods Estates, right next to Castlewood Estates, which is also across the street from Port Huron Township and Clyde Township. We have noticed the odor over at our place on multiple occasions throughout the summer and this fall. And let me tell you, the air is thick. I have airborne allergies, and my son was just diagnosed with asthma this year. And we just saw his doctor yesterday, and she's added more medications and increased them. We have gotten so sick in the last year, we've missed a lot of time and a lot of time from school and from work. I've had to get a 504 plan for my son so he can have his asthma medication at school, which is in Landmark in Kimball Township, on the other side of my subdivision. It is not just important to the Kimball Township residents, but it is important to St. Clair County as a whole, because if I can smell it in my house, you can guarantee that across the street in Port Huron Township and Clyde Township, they can smell it too. The irritants does cause headaches. Whatever level it comes at that causes these headaches, nausea, eye irritation, vomiting, they're high concentration levels for adults. For young children, they're even higher and toxic. And if you read it, for prolonged exposures, it will cause fainting spells and even death. Something needs to happen, and it needs to be swift. And it needs to happen for the whole sake of St. Clair County and not just Kimball Township. Thank you.
Thank you. Linda Pickering-Emig.
I have lived in Smith Creek most of my life. I'm 63. The landfill was started in 58, 59. It was only supposed to be a 20-year project and then a park. Now we got toxic gas coming out of it. I can't open my door. I live downtown Smith Creek. And I open my door, I have a little dog. He doesn't even want to go out. I get sick. I've reported it to my doctor for the last 6 months, telling him I'm nauseated, I have eye irritation, blurred vision, dizziness, headaches. It's ridiculous that they think that they should readjust and re-sign these people back up and give them another permit to continue. I don't think so. I don't think that the landfill should have to have gases coming out of it that cannot be contained. You are harming our lives. It goes for all of us. You have to realize there's other people involved in this, and it's our lives you're trying to kill.
Thank you. David, thank you.
My name is David Richardback. I live at 7100 Jaeger Road. My property is butts right up to the landfill. I've been there for 27 years, and to be fair, I don't know if Matt's around or whatever, but he's always been phenomenal. Okay, if he's been to my house, if there's been an issue, he gave my wife his home phone number and said, "Debbie, call me if there's an issue." You've heard from about 10 different people, and it's all about smell and all that stuff, and I understand all that. My question for this whole situation is, what's changed in 6 months? 27 years, we never smelt it. Maybe on a Saturday morning, once in a great while. But in the last 6 months, it's gotten really bad. What's changed? And when you guys do decide to have a meeting, a question and answer, can you give us more than a day's notice?
Thank you. Mark Watson?
Hi, I'm Mark Watson. I have applied for a part on the Metropolitan Planning Commission to be the at-large person on that board. I have lived in St. Clair County about 35 years of my life. Other part was in Salem County, more rural lifestyle. So Fort Gratiot, now I'm in south side of Port Huron. Very interested in metropolitan planning. I've been in private industry and manufacturing for about 15 years, and now for about 15 years in public transit, both here in Port Huron and now in Oakland County. So I live in Port Huron and I commute. So the roads, the places I have to go through, the rural, my parents were both farmers up in Sanilac County, and then my uncle and aunt were farmers in St. Clair County. So I understand the rural lifestyle and the urban lifestyle, and I would appreciate the appointment onto the board because I'm very interested in, you know, you don't like to say, well, now that at my age, I'm looking for more things to do, but it's kind of that. I'd like to be more involved in the community than I have before now that my children are raised and I have more time to do things like this. So thank you.
Thank you. Vicki Blackburn.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm here to address under new business 12H, and that has to do with the juvenile justice budget. If I had a megaphone, if I had a siren, I would be using both right now. Our youth are not doing well in this county. We're not doing well. So I'll try to stick with my script. I'm here really to speak for these kids because a lot of them, they don't have a parent like you that cares. They don't. They may not have a parent that's even home. So with that said, I'll do my best to advocate. The community has an eagle eye on the proposed juvenile justice budget that is being presented this evening. And we anticipate a positive and radical change from the juvenile injustice system that we have at present. Per the Open Meetings Act, we know juvenile justice meetings will be publicized and easily accessed well before the actual meeting. We know the agenda and previous minutes will also be provided. We know that there will be opportunities for public comment. We expect, and I'll say pray, that you share the urgency with which we are addressing the pervasive and systemic issues that exist regarding our youth. And with that being said, I'm going to say thank you for all that all of you already do, and for the work that you put in, the research that you do, and all that you've done already to stand up on behalf of youth. This is about the community, the schools, the boards, the councils, coming together saying, we have some kids we gotta take care of. Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Scott Badley?
Hi, I'm Scott Badley. I've lived in Kimball Township for over 10 years. In the last 5 years, I've been at 7093 Main Street and pretty much back up to the dump. I have the same concerns everyone else does, but I also have concern about the water. It's like we know what's going up and causing a smell, but we don't know what's going down and getting in our water. And I've checked into it, and we can get water tested fairly cheap, if not free, some places. But anything that's super dangerous, like PFAS and all that stuff. It's like very expensive. It's like, my concern is not just the smell, but the water. That's it.
Thank you.
Right under the wire.
Oh, so it's your turn, Mr. Nowicki? It is, yes.
Well, I'm Dave Nowicki, and live on 6110 Smiths Creek Road. I'm a mile east of the landfill. I lived there 70 years, so I know the whole history of the landfill. The smell even gets down to my place at times. It smells almost like sarnia half the time. And it's been pretty fluent all year. One thing that I was thinking about, what is the difference of previous years? Because it didn't smell before. And we have had excessive rainfall. The water table has risen. That could be one of the problems. I know they have a drain from the landfill, which doesn't make much sense to me. It goes to the airport. They're out there constantly draining that for hours at a time. Last couple weeks ago, they were there for at least 6 hours. And that could be part of the problem. It could be like the drainage problem. That trench might help, you know, but it's been really, really bad consistently. I just wanted to add to everybody else's there.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak during public comment? So normally at this time, we wouldn't have any kind of back and forth, but I think with everyone here, and especially if you've not been to a county board meeting before, we're going to go through the alphabet twice with kind of end of the year housekeeping things. And as much as we'd love to have you stay for the entire meeting, we also understand if maybe you would not like to. So I think probably it makes a lot of sense to get together with Supervisor Yuzikowski, set up a time and a meeting. Recently, I've had experience with having to find a larger location to deal with crowds. So, maybe, I could get from you what size a building we would use and try to get some dates out. So this board generally meets the first and third Thursday. This was moved up at the last meeting, but as you can see on the agenda, those are the items that we hear, but for a more town hall format. So with Mr. Williams, a couple of the commissioners from the districts where this seems to be affecting most, and set up something sooner rather than later. So just so that leaving here, because none of us are going to have answers for any of it tonight, but it sounds like a bigger, broader discussion and meeting makes sense. So if there's any information you either want to get to our office or to Mr. Yuzikowski to get on a list to set up that meeting, I think is probably the best route to get people some answers. So if that works for everybody. And we won't feel bad if you want to leave or if you want to hang out with us for the next 37 items. It's going to be a good time. There's one more issue, so now we'll move on. If we have no more citizens wishing to address the board, do we have any unfinished business? Okay, then we're on to item 12, new business, A1, and this is Mr. Williams and what we added to it, and then maybe we can also get some clarity on some of that. Thank you.
Georgia, could I ask him a question before he gets into his report?
Do you want to just answer?
I want to ask Matt a question.
Sure.
It was brought up before about drainage and the rain and everything, and I think you can give a very, very good explanation on the lagoon system and the water, how it comes from the landfill, so it isn't getting into the area over there. So I just want you to give an explanation, as brief as you can, because it's...
Certainly. Thank you, Commissioners. And, I just want all the folks who spoke to me tonight, to the board tonight. I hear you. I have talked with a number of local residents in the state. We updated Kimball Township. I came to the meeting, I think, in mid-September. Have sent out a couple update letters, and all that's well and good. And we are doing and taking action, and all that's great, but that doesn't change the fact that you all are still smelling what you're smelling. We have made improvements and are collecting more gas, and things are getting better from our end. But as someone stated, I don't live here. I have spent a lot of time driving around in the area lately since this problem has gotten bad this year. So I understand to some degree how bad it does get at times. But again, I don't live where you live. I don't stay overnight, you know, and just please know that I hear you, and we're working on this. So a couple things that I'd just like, if I can, address tonight before we get to the agenda item, just on a couple of comments, a few of the comments that I heard tonight, if you don't mind, I'd like to quickly address. I'm not sure what plan was being referred to by Mr. Robert Joseph at Eagle, because we have submitted all the permits, submitted all the plans, been in contact with Eagle on a consistent basis. Our permits are issued by them. If we weren't complying with everything they require, we would get shut down and our permits would get pulled. So what that is referred to, I'm not quite sure. I've spoke with a number of Eagle folks, and I'll certainly ask what that is and what that came from. There's nothing I'm aware of that they need. With respect to groundwater testing, a gentleman asked maybe some concern about the water. Our landfill is situated in about 50 feet of clay.
Man, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Could you speak into the microphone
Oh.
so people
My
can hear you
apologies.
better? Thank you.
Yeah, that'll be a lot better. The landfill is constructed in about 50 feet of clay, and we dig down about 25, 30 feet into that when we develop new cells. We have a system of groundwater monitoring wells around the perimeter of the landfill. I think we have 17 or 18 of them, which are sampled semi-annually. And we actually did, on our own volition, test for PFAS about 3 years ago in those wells. We don't have any sustained contamination in those wells from the landfill. And so, and I've got, if anyone is interested in looking at those reports, we do them on a quarterly basis. I'm happy to bring them for review at a meeting at Kimball Township and discuss that further. I don't believe we have any infiltration issues with water coming out of the landfill, just in short. But I'm happy to talk with anyone in depth about the safeguards we have in place and the testing and monitoring that we have done. The gentleman was wondering about, who lives down on Smith Creek Road, I apologize for not remembering everyone, about the jetting of the force main along Smith Creek Road, which connects the landfill to the lagoons at the airport. That force main is for treated leachate that we extract from the landfill. And the reason why they're periodically out there working on that force main system is jetting it, just to make sure there are no obstructions in that line. So what happens is our treated leachate leaves the landfill facility, it goes to the airport to open air lagoons, and from there it goes into the sewer system for Kimball Township and ultimately to the Huron wastewater treatment plant right next door to this building. So that has got to do with the leachate we pull out, and I don't believe is in any way related to the odors we've had. One pertinent question that was really asked was what's changed. Someone alluded to a lot of rainfall this year. I believe that's a part of the issue. I believe that the area that we are currently actively filling, because we don't fill the entire landfill footprint at one time, we fill up a smaller area. But the area we're currently working in is quite a bit larger than any other active area we've had. So for the last 4 years, we've been filling an ever-growing footprint as we go up. I think that's got something to do with the issue. The issue, as I see it, is accelerated gas generation due to the decomposition of organics in the waste down in the cell. As those organics decompose, there's an off gas given called landfill gas, which is primarily methane, but has a lot of other stuff attached to it, including hydrogen sulfide and other trace elements. And I know that the human nose is extremely, extremely sensitive to hydrogen sulfide. You can detect that at 8 parts per billion. So it's very distinct and very strong. We're aware of that. And I know that patience is worn thin. We've been working on this for several months. I believe we are at the point, quite honestly, where we are going to make significant strides now. We have made incremental improvements to our gas system. We've added a flare, which is up and running as of today. Tonight, I have before the board a item to ask for their approval for a contractor to construct an extra gas collection system right in the area where that's the primary source of our orders, to give us additional collection capability. So that's what is there tonight. And finally, the only other thing I would like to say is I am very happy to entertain and be present at a town hall with all of you folks, whether that be at Kimball Township grounds, or if it's here, or if we can host that at the landfill in our education center. Any one of those locations would be fine with me. I would just like about a week and make sure I've got everything prepared for the questions and interest that people might want to have and what they might want to know. So I'm very willing and very happy to do that.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board on all of that at this point?
Matt, some of the questions we had here tonight, we'll start with the water testing. We have obviously a system for water testing around the landfill. As our landfill director, would you have authority to implement any type of residential testing? Or would that be something the board would have to authorize?
I don't know that I have the authority. No, I don't believe I have the authority.
That's something the board would have to look at.
Yeah.
And if the board were to do that, would you be able to manage that? I mean, if we had someone come in.
I can certainly facilitate that. Yeah.
I mean, isn't there state offices that could test that? Let's say we funded some.
Typically, I think it would probably run through the health department.
Okay, so,
Counties,
well, then on that point, I did call the supervisor, Yuzakowski, about their resolution they did. And one of the things they talked about was the health department. I was going to ask you, so if we did urge our health department to get involved with perhaps some residential testing to satisfy people that their water's not contaminated by the landfill, maybe that's something you think the health department might be able to do?
I believe
Okay. I'll follow up on that. This issue on their, talking about their resolution, and when a township makes a resolution and presents it to the county and asks for the county to do some things, we all take that very seriously. So, but to get a consultant or engineer, I did speak with Mr. Supervisor Yuzakowski. I'm not big on consultants and engineers because they're expensive and a lot of times they miss the mark. So I asked our supervisor if he thought there was some issue with the management of the landfill, and he said no. He said Matt does a good job. So he didn't really have a solution. Do you think that's a viable, do you need anything in the nature of consultants or anything to assist you in making these determinations, or do you feel that's not appropriate or necessary? I guess
actually, just a couple weeks ago, I asked our current engineering consultants to reach out to other folks and other
in the industry?
Gas control in industry. And that conversation has started, so we are doing some work with someone else who's got a fresh set of eyes on.
And that, would that perhaps include people with engineering backgrounds?
Yes.
So this resolution, we were already perhaps doing some of that by reason of your consulting other landfill operators and the resources you have to get that type of expert information.
We've reached out for that.
Okay. The other thing they put in there, they had 3 things. They wanted the consultant, health department action, and the third thing was amend our solid waste plan. That's not really a possibility, is it, to try and amend a solid waste plan for a temporary issue like this, or is that something that would have something you think we should look at?
And Mr. Donaldson can speak to that better than I can, but
well, to make it simpler, we are a closed county.
Yes.
You know, let's say, I know I told you this today, I had Carl Silverthorne, who I went to school with in Yale and graduated with, and we fished together and like a close friend. Well, he pumped my septic today, and we got talking about the landfill. And he mentioned that the landfill was closed. And one of the people has said, well, close the landfill. Well, it is closed to septic haulers, right?
Currently,
As of like September to the end of the year. So these folks, I've got a fellow from my district who lives in my district, says we need to open that landfill up and take this stuff because I got to drive to Lexington. So, you know, there's a balance there, right? But on the point of, say, hitting the trash in, you're not accepting septage, would answer the one lady's question, you know, close the landfill, you closed it to septage. We can't close it to trash, right? I mean, we couldn't take it, but we couldn't take it any place if we tried that, correct?
By our own solid waste management.
Right.
At this point in time, no, we can't. It would have to be.
I guess that's the point I'm trying to make for the public is we have a landfill for many years. It's worked well for many years. We have this issue currently that's an anomaly. The options where you're dealing with it appears on a good basis, but closing the landfill is certainly not one of them because that's just not something we can do because we have no authority we'd violate state law and our landfill plans if we tried to take it out of county, right?
Well, yes.
Okay.
As long as we are open, that's correct.
The last couple of questions, there was an email we got from Gary Fletcher sent to Jeff Bowman. Jeff copied all of us from regarding the DTE biomass, their contract. So as I understand it, because one of the things we talked about, back in September you were here and we pre-approved spending money at a committee meeting for final action, which is something I never like to see, but it was urgent. So we just said, whatever you got to spend, Matt, go ahead. You got the equipment, you got the flares coming, you got all this stuff going. So I wanted people to know that we did that. We got ahead of it. We didn't say, well, twiddle our thumbs, or let's have some committee meetings, or just wait, or maybe. And one of the things was what I call landfill perfume. You had this stuff you're going to inject into landfill to neutralize the odors. It was like 75 grand. We said, well, do that too, even though I felt I'm not so sure it's really worth it. But is there anything you haven't done that you think you should be doing?
At this point, no.
Yes.
At this point, our focus, please believe it or not, has been to get our arms around the odor issue right now. We understand that we have a 20-plus-year-old gas system that has been expanded multiple times over the years as the landfill has grown, so parts of it are new. We need to make sure, and we have been looking towards the future, but we need to make sure that what we're planning for the future is going to do everything we can to prevent what's happened this year from reoccurring.
Well, it's another last little point. I don't want to take too much time here, but that email from Corporation Counsel talked about the DTE having the exclusive right to the gas, the exclusive right to put facilities in to turn the gas into electricity. Fire to first refusal. It was triggered by the 6,000 MMBTU, metric million British thermal unit, whatever that is. So, and they have this right, and once we hit that mark, the 6,000 MMBTU, then we have to notify them, hey, we've hit it. Then they're supposed to verify it, and if it's true, they have to apply for a permit to get more equipment out there to use this gas up. Is that how that's supposed to work?
They don't have to.
No, they forfeit. If they don't do it, then they would forfeit it. I've got a son-in-law that works for the landfill over in Richmond, Waste Management, and they run like 6 or 8 of these Cat 10-cylinder Cat diesels, the same ones that you guys have. I think you have 2, correct?
Yes.
So that was the other question. I think we've looked at every angle on this and said, well, let's get some more gas generation out there. But again, it's got to hit a certain mark. And are we working on that? Is there some way to test that? Or how often do we look at that?
Quite honestly, we have not been anywhere near that threshold until the past couple months. So that hasn't even been on the radar.
But are we looking at that now? Do we know now whether or not we have excess methane or not?
We do currently. The question is, will we have it 5 years, 7 years?
Have we notified DTE Biomass that we've hit that 6,000?
They know. They
Okay.
track it.
Have they verified it?
Yeah, there was an email today where they had communicated their totals for the year.
So they verified it.
They said we're approaching the 6,000.
So they've not reached the 6,000?
Correct.
Okay. You believe that's true, that we've not reached?
It's a 6-month rolling average.
Okay.
So it's not the last.
It's not
current.
just, okay, so you got to,
The last current month, yes, we were well over that 6,000.
so you are watching that then very closely. Okay, that answers my questions. Thank you.
So, Matt, the flare went up today?
The flare was started and is operating today.
So
We
how-
actually received it 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so how long should it take before you start to see whether it's working or how well it's working? Is there a timeline on that?
We should know quickly.
Okay.
Quite honestly, the flare that we rented had a lot of issues. We helped investigate and diagnose the issues with the flare rental company. They expedited some parts that we swapped out and replaced in the unit so that we could attempt to run it today. So we were able to get it up and running today. We have one gas well hooked up to it from the Cell 8 area, which is the area where we believe most of the odors are coming from. Assuming that runs okay and everything looks fine, we're going to add wells to that tomorrow.
Okay.
And the great thing about that flare is it can apply a much higher vacuum to the wells that need vacuum in Cell 8. Part of the issue with the odors is that we have the infrastructure in place. We haven't been able to get enough vacuum back to that part of the landfill to extract all the gas. So it's a twofold thing. The additional flare to apply that vacuum and additional collection infrastructure, which I'm hoping to have approved tonight, to collect more and more areas. So that's the goal. And those two things together, I feel real confident that that's going to make things much, much better.
Yes.
You're aware that my oldest son bought Bell River Golf Course, and we have to do testing out there with the water. The health department does do that. You give them samples, and that would be the easiest and quickest way that you could take your water samples if you're concerned about your wells, and they could be dropped off. I don't know if we can take any action tonight, but to advise our health department, I know they have manpower, because there's one person currently doing that, and it has to be documented. Any business like that has to do that. And if we can assist the residents out there with their well water, possibly get a list to Rob and forward it to somebody here, maybe and forward it to the health department and say this is something that is of great concern, and then possibly get our health department to assist on this to check anybody that has concerns about their water.
Correct. Yeah, and so I think I've taken notes from the different issues that were brought up and then the different agencies that would be. So our health department, EPA, Eagle were mentioned, your office, Kimball, Clyde, Port Huron Township, and some commissioners, I think, to get together, decide what, who needs to be at the table with residents, and then have enough of a moving forward. So we have the spreadsheet from Supervisor Yuskowski with some of those issues as well. So I think probably we need to get together sooner than later, get that together, get it to you.
I know we tentatively have a meeting with Township Board and Rob next week. However, if that's the appropriate time to expand that for all the residents, figure that out.
Okay.
But I'm happy to facilitate and be a part of anything.
Okay. I would hope to have an answer and a date set by the beginning of next week.
And I just do have to say, though, with respect to the groundwater testing, we have wells on the landfill property that we drink directly from, and they are tested periodically. We can certainly do that. I guess I would ask first, maybe take a look at what we've done for our perimeter wells and tested. That's completely up to the board's call on how we want to go there. I personally think that that's a non-issue. I don't believe there is any contamination whatsoever. We've got some documentation to prove that. However, given how the year has gone, I know a lot of questions have been raised. So if that's something we want to do, then absolutely, I'll help facilitate.
For peace of mind, if someone wants their well tested, we should test it.
Yeah.
You want to know your well is good.
Okay. Are there any other questions from this presentation? Then are we ready to move on to A1? A0.
We need any motion on his.
I'm sorry?
Any motion on anything that Matt's doing? We're going to move on to 12A then.
Correct.
Okay. Guess we're done with you, Matt.
Thank you,
Well,
ma'am.
we got to vote on that.
Isn't that what we're?
We haven't talked about A1.
Yeah, do you need any more information about that item?
We haven't even talked about it yet.
I have to
12A1?
say that on
Right,
the
we haven't
agenda-
talked about that yet. have
We have a
No,
motion
we
on
need
the
to move on
trench
to that.
project.
now.
Yeah.
12A.
Yeah, isn't that what I just said? Don't we need to move on to that, to
We're gonna
A1?
do
We're done with the
A1.
presentation part?
Yep.
Right, okay.
No one's made the motion yet.
No.
Well, to get the discussion, you want this moved to the full board then? What do you send it to us? Or are we talking 12A or 12A1?
It's on the agenda for passage now, right? Yeah, it's on our agenda, it's on.
Right, isn't that what we moved?
Yeah.
That you asked to move first, to
Right.
have Mr.
So we
Williams
need
do a
motion to have
presentation
this
and to move
forward
this.
to the full board. I'll make a motion to forward this to the full board.
Isn't this the full board?
This is a full board.
Right.
This is the full board.
I mean, you want to have
That-
this addressed tonight.
I mean, I feel like that should be final action.
Final
Okay.
action.
Right,
For final action, motion for final action.
okay. I have a motion for final action from Commissioner Rushing. Do I have a support?
Support.
Thank you. Motion support. Any questions, any additional questions, comments? All those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden,
Yes.
Commissioner Torello,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch.
Yes.
Commissioner Smasko.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Commissioners, may I make one quick comment about that item?
Yes.
I just want to mention that for your edification and for the folks' edification, I did go out and solicit bids for this work probably about 5 or 6 weeks ago. The price I got back was more than we thought it was going to be to do the work. Because of that and our purchasing policies, we were required to develop a formal RFP, bid specifications and all of that. So we did that as quickly as we could, got it posted, got a bid, and that's what's before you tonight. So the bid is for B&B for $239,250 budget. So, point being, I just tried to get that done a little quicker, but
And the reason, Matt, you could solicit that was because in September, we pre-approved the money. The reason you could solicit that and have it ready to go tonight was because we pre-approved in September monies for those purposes, correct?
no, this wasn't a pre-approval.
Okay, where did that money come from? That was something you had in the pipeline, or?
It's just money that we have in the enterprise fund that we would spend for this construction.
Thank you.
Because we approved the 100,000, so we're approaching, what, 400,000 since this project or this issue's been addressed. We're approaching 400,000 to address this issue. So we have been addressing it as soon as we've been made aware of it, even though we didn't get the results that need to be done yet, but we're working on it. And we, as soon as we knew about it, he came to us and asked for additional monies, and we approved it as soon as he asked for it. And then he went forward and got the equipment. So we have been addressing this. If you go and look at the previous board minutes that we've had, you'll see that Matt's been here and it's been asking, we need to get this addressed, and we have been doing that. So, and we're going to continue until it's solved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item, the resolution 23-32, adopting the 2024 general fund budget.
This time I move to accept and not, oh, that's wrong. At this time I move to adopt Resolution 23-32, adopting the 2024 general fund budget.
Second.
Okay, any questions or comments? Well, thank you for doing all that work to put that budget together. It's a big document. Okay, no questions or comments. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Beeden,
Yes.
Commissioner Torello,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch.
Yes.
Commissioner Smasko,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin.
Yes.
That's fine, I got it, yeah.
Okay, item B, the EPA assessment brownfield grant application.
At this time, I make a motion to approve the EPA assessment brownfield grant application in the amount of $500,000.
Support.
I have a motion and support. Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
That's not a roll call?
No, because it's an application, not an agreement.
Opposed.
Okay. So we have 5 yeas, 1 nay, motion carries. Item C, the 2024 Memorandum of Agreement with the MSU Extension Services in St. Clair County.
I would move at this time that we approve the 2024 Memorandum of Agreement for MSU Extension Services in the amount of $100,748.
Support.
Thank you. I have a motion support. Any questions or comments?
This is for the University of Michigan. Just being.
Questions or comments? No statements. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Torello?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Samasco?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item D, the Health Department contract approval request.
At this time, I make a motion to approve the agreement for an electronic medical record management system with Patagonia Health Systems for a term of September 28th, 2023 through September 27th, 2024 in the amount of $16,105.68.
Support.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Samasco?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Torello?
Yes.
Thank you. Library Board appointment, item E.
This time I move to accept the nominations for appointment to District 2 vacancy on the library board and to cast ballots.
Support?
Oh, such a party pooper. You the boss. Oh, the bylaws.
Thank you.
Elizabeth Buckley has been appointed to the library board.
Thank you. We need to, that's just it. That's
Yeah.
good. Okay, thank you.
Good
Item F, the library contract approval request.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agreement with Auto Graphics for digital content subscription for the library system for a term of December 23 to November 30th of 28 in the amount of $16,193.
Support?
Thank you. Any questions or comments? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Vanden Bosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Samasco?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Torello?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item H, the 2023-24 Child Care Fund budget.
I'd like to make a motion to approve digital video, music, and audio access subscription renewal agreement with
That's G, yep.
Midwest Tape Hula Hoopla for a term of 1/1/24 through 12/31/25 in the amount of $315,000.
Thank you. Do I have a support?
Support.
Thank you. I have a motion and support on what I should have said was item G. All those, or any questions or comments? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Samasco?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Torello?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Now I'm on to H, the 2023-2024 Child Care.
I would move to approve the 23-24 year-end child care fund budget as presented.
Support.
Thank you. I have a motion support. Any questions or comments? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden,
Yes.
Commissioner Trello,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Vandenbosch.
Yes.
Commissioner Samasco.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item I, the amendment to fiscal year 2021 Emergency Management Performance Grant.
I'd like to make a motion to what she said, increasing the total allocations to 9,820 for a total combined amount of 33,574.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Do I have any questions or comments? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Beeden,
Yes.
Commissioner Trello,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Vandenbosch,
Yes.
Commissioner Samasco,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin.
Yes. Thank you. Motion carries. Item J, the court's contract extension approval request.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agreement and extension with Viviante Software for the term of November 19th of 21 through December 1st of 23 for an additional $26,250 for a total not to exceed the amount of $268,825.
Support.
Thanks. I have a motion and support. Any questions or comments? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Trello,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Vandenbosch.
Yes.
Commissioner Samasco,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item K, the fiscal year 2023 emergency management, yes. right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
sorry. Performance grant.
I'll make a motion to approve the fiscal year 23 emergency management performance grant agreement in the amount of $23,754.
Support.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and support. Any questions or comments? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Vandenbosch.
Yes.
Commissioner Samasco,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden,
Yes.
Commissioner Trello.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item L, fiscal year 2024 recovery court grant agreement.
This time I move to approve fiscal year 2024 Recovery Court Grant Agreement for the term of 10/1/2023 through 9/30/2024 in the amount of $57,000 with no local match.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
No.
Great. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Vandenbosch,
Yes.
Commissioner Samasco,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden,
Yes.
Commissioner Trello,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item M, fiscal year 2024 Michigan Mental Health Court.
I'd like to make a motion to approve fiscal year 2024 Michigan Mental Health Court Grant as previously stated, agreement in the amount of $381,665.
Support.
Thank you. I have a motion and support. Do I have any questions or comments? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Samasco,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden,
Yes.
Commissioner Trello,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Vandenbosch.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item O.
N?
N.
There we go.
Yep. Skipping ahead.
You're skipping.
I know.
You're
I'm
skipping.
trying to
Don't be
skip you.
skipping.
Getting
It's
exciting.
exciting.
I saw you had it.
I'm watching. Tonight
Right.
I'm watching for a change, so. I would move to approve at this time the Raise the Age Grant Agreement for the term of 10/1/23 through 9/30/24 in the amount of $273,240.
Support.
Thank you. I have a motion and support. Any questions or comments? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden,
Yes.
Commissioner Trello,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Vandenbosch.
Yes.
Commissioner Samasco.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Now item O, Homeland Security.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Chief Dave Westrick to the Homeland Security Advisory Council as Fire Chiefs Association representative.
Support.
Thank you. I have a motion and support. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item P, Judge Armstrong Courtroom renovations.
This time I move to approve the agreement with Beam Construction for Judge Armstrong's courtroom renovations in the amount not to exceed $140,500.
Support?
Thank you. I have a motion and support. Any questions or comments? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Beeden,
Yes.
Commissioner Trello,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Vandenbosch.
Yes.
Commissioner Samasco,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin.
Yes. Thank you. Item Q, Sheriff Contract for East China Charter Township.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the sheriff contract for law enforcement services with Charter Township of East China for a term of January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2026, for a 3-year total cost of $614,373.
Support.
Thank you. I have a motion, support. Any questions or comments? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Torello?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandenbach?
Yes.
Commissioner Samasco?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes. Yes.
Sorry. Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item R, sheriff contract with Fort Gratiot.
This time, I would move to approve the sheriff contract for law enforcement services with the Charter Township of Fort Gratiot for the term 1/1/24 through 12/31/2026, 3 years, a total cost of $3,390,648.
Support.
Thank you. I have a motion, support. Any questions or comments? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandenbosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Samasco?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Torello?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item S, 2024 to 2028 CIP.
This time, I move to approve the 2024 to 2028 capital improvement program as recommended by the Metropolitan Planning Commission.
Support.
A motion, support. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item T,
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the landfill materials and delivery contract with Asphalt Trucks Incorporated for the period of 12/1/23 through November 30th of '24 in the amount not to exceed $417,000.
Support.
I have a motion, support. Any questions or comments? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Vandenbosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Samasco?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Torello?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Thank you. Item U, contract approval request with JADC.
At this time, I make a motion to approve the landfill materials and delivery contract with JADC Enterprises, DBA as Danny's Transport Incorporated for the period of December 1st, 2023 through November 30th, 2024, in the amount not to exceed $300,750.
Support.
I have a motion, support. Any questions or comments? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Samasco?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Torello?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandenbosch?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item V, the contract approval request with SA Torello.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the landfill materials and delivery contract with S.A. Torello, Inc. for a period of 12/1/23 through 11/30/24 in an amount not to exceed $184,000.
Support.
So I have a motion, support. Any questions or comments?
Yes. Can I would like to abstain from this vote, please. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. Any other questions or comments? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandenbosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Samasco?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item W, the Metropolitan Planning Commission appointment.
Yes, at this time, I'd like to appoint, or make a motion to appoint Mark Watson, member at large, to the Metropolitan Planning Commission for the remainder of the 3-year term expiring December 31st of '25.
Support.
I have a motion, support, and we feel like we've vetted Mr. Watson properly.
I'll be abstaining from this vote.
So any other questions or comments? No. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item X.
At this time, I move to approve the agreement with S.A. Torello Incorporated for the demolition of 2 structures located at North Channel Park Development, an amount not to exceed $74,800.
Support.
Thank you. I have a motion, support. Any questions or comments?
Yes, at this time, I'd like to abstain.
Thank you.
Thank you.
May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandenbosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Samasco?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes. Motion carries. Item Y, Resolution 2329.
This time, I would move, I move my R off here, get my Y going, there we go. This time, I would move to adopt Resolution 23-29, approving the annual county at-large drain assessments in the amount of $577 $1,426.84.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Any questions or comments? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Torello?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandembosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Samasco?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes. Motion carries. Item Z, Resolution 2335.
This time I make a motion to adopt Resolution 2335, supporting the submission of a grant application to Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Legacy Fund in the amount of $25,000 for a year-round tubing hill at Columbus County Park with a $30,000 match to be provided by millage funds.
Support.
Thank you. I have a motion and support. Any questions or comments? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Torello?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandembosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Samasco?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item AA, Survey and Remonumentation Grant App.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2024 Survey and Remonumentation Grant application in the amount of $88,468.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion, support. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item AB, the 2024 Pension and Retiree Health Care Rates.
At this time, I move to approve the 2024 pension and retiree health care contribution rates of $5,093,033 for pension and 9% of eligible payroll contributions to the Health Care Trust Fund.
Support.
I have a motion, support. Do I have any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item AC, Blue Cross and Blue Shield.
This time I would move to approve the Blue Cross Blue Shield 2024 renewal documents as presented.
Support.
We have a motion, support. Any questions or comments? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandembosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Samasco?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Torello?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item AD, District 2 ARPA projects.
I'd like to make a motion to approve District 2 ARPA project to replace mobile and handheld radios for Birchville Township Fire Department in the amount of $42,936.58.
Support.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Vandembosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Samasco?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Torello?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Thank you, and thank you. On item AE, District 2 ARPA for Fort Gratiot.
This time I'll make a motion to approve the District 2 American Rescue Plan project to replace mobile and handheld radios for the Fort Gratiot Township Fire Department in the amount of $57,861.34.
Support.
Thank you. A motion, support. Any questions or comments? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Samasco?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yep.
Commissioner Torello?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandembosch?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item AF.
This time, I move to approve the District 6 American Rescue Plan Project revised request for Casco Township for culvert replacement on Springborn Road in the amount of $19,196.13.
Support.
Okay. Any questions or comments? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yep.
Commissioner Torello?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandembosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Samasco?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item AG for the 2024 RISA agreement.
This time I make a motion to approve the 2024 RISA service agreement for payroll services in the amount of $34,500.
Support.
Thank you. I have a motion, support. Do I have any questions or comments? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Torello?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandembosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Samasco?
Yes.
Sorry. Item AH, contract renewal for ESRI.
Yes, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the renewal maintenance agreement with ESRI for the term of from November 10th of '23 through November 9th of '24 in the amount of $26,679.
Support.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Trello?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Smasko?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item AI, information technology contract.
I'd like to make a motion to approve web security license agreement with Intercom TSG for the term of 10/31/23, 10/30/26 in the amount of $42,250.
Support. I have a motion support. Any questions or comments? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Smasko?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Trello?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item AJ.
This time I would move to adopt Resolution 23-26, waiving investment earned on taxes collected by local units.
Thank you. I have a motion. Do I have a support?
Support.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on the resolution? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Vanden Bosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Smasko?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Trello?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item AK, Resolution 23-30.
This time I move to adopt Resolution 23-30, adopting the 80/20 cost-sharing model for health insurance as set forth in the Publicly Funded Health Insurance Contribution Act.
Support.
Thank you. I have a motion support. Any questions or comments? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Smasko?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Trello?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item AL, Resolution 23-32.
We deleted that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. As soon as it came out of my mouth. AM, Resolution 23-25.
Make a motion to adopt Resolution 2325, establishing per diem for board and commissions.
Support.
Thank you. I have a motion and support. Any questions or comments? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Trello?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Smasko?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item 13, the administrator's report.
I only have a couple brief things this evening. We have been speaking about our new agenda software transition. So next month, we will be using the new agenda software. Staff will be reaching out to commissioners for training for those that are interested. We had training earlier this week for department heads on how items go on the agenda and the proper workflows. So next month, it will look a little different. For those of you that have it bookmarked, maybe, you might have to click through the website to get to it because that bookmark is going to change. IT is going to see if they can redirect. So if people do have it bookmarked, it will come to the new software. So if you're unable to find it, you'll have to navigate through the website.
Is that part of Nova's agenda, Carrie, or no, that's a separate, totally separate?
Well, we are going to Civic Plus next month, so we'll no longer be using Novus.
Goes away.
Yes, it will replace it.
Then what about archived information? How's that work?
All of our old agendas and minutes, we are converting or transferring over, so that information will still all be on our website, still available, so citizens can.
Translation take any particular amount of time, or?
Actually, we've been working on that for months, so that should be ready to go for the December agenda.
Good job, thank you.
Is there any way to put that maybe out, either kind of a flash on the front page or on the socials to let people know that maybe also residents who maybe have it bookmarked just to?
Yep, we will. We can make
What's the
sure.
reason for the fix? Like, if it's not broke, don't fix it, so we're fixing it.
Well, so Novus Agenda is very old software. We have no support for it, and as our equipment updates, our IT servers update, it's kind of running on its own server because it's no longer supported.
It's kind of broken.
Yeah,
broken?
it is kind of broken.
It's about to be broken.
Yeah.
Fix it.
No, the new software is a lot more user-friendly. It will have a lot more search functions, and hopefully it'll be a lot easier to navigate to find information, especially for citizens.
Will it be mobile friendly?
Yes, it will.
I like that.
Yes, it should work
current
whether you
ones.
have an Android or an Apple device.
Thank you.
The state of Michigan is starting their transition and consolidating their space, so you may see some dumpsters, some activity over there. They'll be starting to move out later this month or portions of their operation. And the ARPA consultant, unfortunately, we were unable to get it on the agenda today. We did just got the contract finalized late this afternoon, so you will see that on your December agenda.
Can we put that on for a final action maybe, or no?
Yeah, we absolutely could put that on your committee for final action. That way, we could get started with projects. As a,
Motion for that, or just,
no, we'll just put it on the agenda that way. As a reminder, the December meetings will be similar to this one, where it's the first and second week, not the first and third, and that has been on the board's published schedule and past practice, but just as a reminder to everyone. And that's all this evening.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Ms. Hepting? I have a motion to approve the administrator's report.
move to approve?
Thank you. Support?
Support.
Thank you. All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 14, any miscellaneous business? Item 15, receive and file packets.
This time I make a motion to receive and file packets that were sent to commissioners, packets at their place, and any other information presented.
Support.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Meeting adjourned.